Good morning, Keller Williams, South Florida, and anybody else who's watching. My name is Ryan Yarbrough. I'm the Regional Technology Director for South Florida, and I'm joined here with our first session of the day with Tim Carruthers. And he is with the United Home Group up in Atlanta, Georgia. Is that right?
That's correct. Close enough.
Close enough? Well, I'll let you introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Tim.
Absolutely. So I am one of those jarhead Marine veterans, so I'm a little hard-headed. I've been married to my wife of about 22 years just a couple weeks ago. Fun fact, we only dated for about 10 months before we got married. So fun times. We have 5 kids that call us Madre and Padre, and I've been doing this for a little over 3 years right now.
Oh, well. And what is your production like?
So I spend the majority of my time doing internet leads and sphere of influence. So database is kind of a fun thing for me. Currently, I am looking at about 4 different pended. I've got 6 listings coming, and we've got about 4 other internet leads that we're working with right now, hopefully making offers this weekend.
Congratulations, and thank you for joining us today. Today's session is called Now What? We've gone in depth and we've talked about doing your sphere of influence. We talked about online lead generation. We've talked about open houses. So if you're trying to do the 201 plus club, which we hope you all are, because I've got this graphic here that shows that if you're sitting over here with 0 contacts, your average commission rate is going to be about 14,000. However, you can see right here, when we get to this section right here, the 201 is when most people start getting above $100,000. And that's typically, when we're talking to agents, what they're aiming for as a goal when they get into the real estate business. Now, of course, I'd love to see everybody up over in this section over here. However, this is a good place to start. So let's get 201 contacts into your database, start working them. And today's session is that now what? So you got those 201 from those different resources. Now, Tim is going to take this class today, and he's going to tell you what to do with those contacts once you've got them in and how he's converting them at a high level. So he's actually got 2 sessions today. He's going to start off today, and then we're going to have Lindsay Springsteen from down in Fort Myers. She's been a rock star. We've had her on once before. She's been amazing, and she's actually started building her team. So we want to bring her on and have her show you how she's been converting at a high level after Tim's done with his first session. And then Tim's going to rejoin us again and finish up for the day. Typically on Take Command, we do have a Spanish session. So I'm going to show here. Tim's starting from 9 to 9:30. Lindsay's jumping in at 10 to 10:30. And then Tim is going to go again at 11. And typically we do have a Spanish session. This month we will not have a Spanish session. If you are a Spanish leader in your market center or an agent in your market center and you want to come on to Take Command and teach a Spanish session, we're always looking for good instructors. So feel free to reach out to either myself or your market center tech trainers. So Tim, I'm going to give this session to you and let you go ahead and teach us how to follow through, not follow up, right?
Man, absolutely. It's one of my favorite phrases that my coach, who is Spencer Combs, actually a PC down there in the Miami area, and it was a statement he gave me, I guess, about a year ago that completely changed my business from follow up, right? Hey, I'm just calling to follow up on what? Versus following through. Hey, the last time we spoke, we were talking about X. How's that going? It just sounds different. But when I look at 201 contacts or more in your database being in command, the first question that comes to mind is, I have all these people, but where are they? How do I use them? Where do I find them? Things of that nature. And so when I look at it, I kind of look at it like this. If you were to get your purchase and sale agreement, you have it over here from one closing, you've got another piece of legal document from over here, you've got some tax papers from over here, right? You've got all these files everywhere, and you're just shoving them all into one drawer in your filing cabinet. It's not the most efficient and effective use of our time, especially when we're needing to be in contact with our people. So one of the first things I looked at when we put all of these people into our database is, how do I organize them? Right? I need a logical and consistent system that's going to allow me to be able to find my contacts quickly, know who I need to contact, when I need to contact them, and so forth. So when I look at it, I shot Ryan a quick little handout I'm going to give to each of you today on what my tag groups look like, right? And the way that I look at this is you've got one filing cabinet, and in that filing cabinet, you have different file folders. For an example, where did your leads come from that are in your database? Because not all leads are the same, right? So you've got your sphere of influence. For me, those take a lot higher precedence than, say, a sign call or a for sale by owner, right? Meanwhile, did they come through an internet lead? We're going to interact with those people in a different way. And so sometimes you just want to be able to sort those 201 or more people, we hope. We hope that you're able to sort those by those particular groups, right? And so that when you're following through, you're calling back about that sign call. You're not just, hey, I'm following up on a call that you made, or where did, you're having to research where did they come from. And I don't know about you, but I like to try to have the same dialogues at a time, right? So if I have 10 people from the internet leads that I need to call, right? I want to be able to call all 10 of those at one time. I don't want to have to call an internet lead, then a sphere of influence, then a for sale by owner, right? I just want to get in a rhythm of having the same type conversations. So putting these tags on people are vitally important to what I do and how I am able to convert internet leads and my sphere at a higher level, right? So I don't know about you all, but we only have 24 hours in a day. And as I said in the opening, I do have 5 kids and a wife of 22 years, and I like to have a little bit of free time. So time is of the essence. So getting these labels in are going to be vitally important. And then you're also going to look at, right, what's the call schedule look like? When do I call them? How do I call them? What list do I need to be calling? We've got 201 people or more in your database. How do we provide a system that's both comprehensive and cohesive to get the scheduling done, right? So let's jump into a little bit about tags. So they're all very, very simple. You're putting people into your database, whether you're doing it now or whether you're going back to add the tags later. There's really 5 groups of tags that I use. Okay. The first one is what I was just mentioning, the source. Where did they come from? Because where they came from is important of how we're going to interact with them. The priority level. For me, I use 4 main priority levels. A hot lead, that's someone that's going to buy between now and the next 3 months. We're going to look at a nurture lead. Nurture is going to be someone who is looking to purchase in the next 3 to 6 months for me. A watch is going to be someone who's 6 months to a year or more, right? And then the last one that I use is the pond. The pond means that's where a lot of my friends are right now, right? This is a lot of where my family resides right now. They're not looking to buy or sell right now, but they do need to be in my database, and I have to have a plan to communicate with them. The other one is one that everyone here at Keller Williams should have, and that's the DTD2. It's very simple, 13 tags that you're able to put on each of your people. And we're going to build a system for that. I have one for informational. All of us probably have agents in our database, or at least you should, right? Or you have that person. I'm not naive to the fact that not everyone has an agent. Everyone knows an agent, right? However, I do have friends that have worked with other agents. I'll leave my feelings out of that for now, but I want to know who those people are, right? If I find out a phone number changed, or if I find out an email changed, I may label that as bad information so that when I go into my admin time, I may try to work through some of those and try to correct some of those, find them else some other way, and get that information changed. We need to be maintaining our database in that format. I have some that are just in there that, hey, I'm just going to put them on a text blast. So I have a tag for text blast, right? One of the things we're going to talk about in the second session is what I call my 12-day press. This is for any new lead that goes into my database and how we're going to have that conversation. And then the fifth group are my call list. As I coach a lot of agents, one of the things I hear is I don't know who to call, or I'm running out of people to call. So by building tags for particular call list, I can look at that list every week. For example, first-time home buyers. You have people in your database that have never bought a home before. If you decided to do a home buying seminar, those would be some of the best people to reach out to, right? So why not create a tag where you're always going to be able to pull that list quickly and easily, right? What about people that are active on your app right now? Do we have a tag for those, right? I have a tag, as we just threw it in the chat, but I have one of the tags that literally says most recent. I want to know who the most recent people who are there just logged in. We know that studies say 18 to 24 months for them to buy. That doesn't mean wait 18 to 24 months to have a conversation with them. So when they're most active, that's when I want to have that conversation. The last login, who are the people who recently logged in? Have a conversation with those, right? Because that way we now have a systematic way to find everyone in our database. I would say on average in my database, the average person has at least 3 to 4 tags, right? Because they may fall on different lists, but it's going to help me make sure I get those contacts. Now, once we have all these labels, right? So now we can take, let's just say we're going to stick with 201. Let's say you have 201 contacts. Not all 201 need to be on the same list. So now we're able to break our database down into bite-sized pieces so that we can then actually convert those leads. I don't know about you, but I can't sit down and dial for 3 hours straight. It's just not going to happen. I can dial for 3 hours, but it's not going to be all at one time. So let me take bite-sized pieces and look at, say, a hot tag and say, okay, I have 10 people I need to have a conversation with, right? Or I need to look at my DTD2. These are the 19 people I need to have a conversation with this week, okay? This breaks those down into bite-sized pieces. But now what does the schedule look like? All right, we put some tags on these things. What does the schedule look like? How do we call them? So I'm going to give you some of mine. You find what works for you, but this is what has worked incredibly well for me. A hot lead. Hot leads, I am going to call them every single Monday. Every Monday, we're going to call a hot lead, okay? Because they just got through the weekend. Maybe they found something they liked. Maybe we looked at 3 or 4 homes this weekend. Maybe they're finally ready to make that jump and we need to get them ready by the weekend, okay? So call the hot leads first Monday, every Monday. Nurture leads, I call bi-weekly, every 2 weeks, right? We just want to stay in contact. We want to have something to follow through with. Hey, last time we spoke, we talked about going ahead and getting that pre-approval done. How is that going? Right? So we want to be able to follow through with those people. The watch label or tags. In the watch tag, they're 6 months to a year out. We want to have a conversation with them, but we don't want to over communicate with them. And yes, that would be a thing if you're 24 months out and you're having a conversation with them every week. It's a tougher conversation to have. And then we have my pond. Now, my pond typically is going to operate through the DTD2. That resource we've thrown in the chat for you as well. So with the DTD2, we're going to call 2 letters of the alphabet every single week. There it is on your screen right there. We're going to call 2 letters every single week. And we're going to text 1 letter every single week. There's some quick steps on how you can do this. And here's a thing that one of my other coaches gave me that I absolutely love with the DTD2. because those should be the easiest people for you to call. I have to earn the right in my own schedule to call my DTD2 people every Friday. If I don't set the number of appointments that I need, if I don't have the number of contacts that I need, whatever my goals are for that week, if I have not met those goals by Thursday evening, I have to go work on those goals on Friday, and I'll have to call my DTD2 on Saturday. I don't mind calling my friends on Saturday. That's fine. However, I'd much prefer to spend it with my kids outdoors. It's summertime. I'd much rather be doing that than calling my DTD2 on Saturday. So, quick little fun incentive, because lead gen should be fun, right? Set a goal every week. Get there by end of Thursday so that you can have fun calling your sphere on Friday. But we're going to call them every Friday. But let me make sure we're very, very clear here, because this is where I messed up early on. Just because they're a hot lead and you call them every Monday does not mean that every hot lead is equal. Not every nurture lead that's 3 to 6 months is equal. And the importance of understanding that is, yes, you have a regimented schedule for calling the hot, the nurture, the watches. However, each of those may need additional conversations throughout the week, right? Or throughout the month, or during their time. That's where tags come back in. You can create other mini tags, right, that are more in line with what that client or that person in your database needs. But it's a quick start, right? So DTD2, call them every week. I call them every Friday. We use a quick format. I use Ford. I love Ford, right? Family, occupation, recreation, dreams. But here's the thing, when you're calling those, you don't have to ask all 4 of those at the same time. If you're going to call them 4 times in the year, why not break it down? Ask them about their family one time. Ask them about their dreams. Ask them about, hey, what are you doing for work? You guys.
Hey, Tim, do you mind if I cut in there just a little bit?
100%, man.
What you're saying is extremely important, and I want to make sure everybody gets that. Like, I personally use those as tags. Like, I have a whole list of tags that are in there specifically for that reason, just so I can target them in my database and have conversations about things that matter to them. So family, like if I'm creating a event or something like that, and it's going to be more family oriented, then having a tag in there that shows like they're married with kids or they just have kids or something like that is extremely important, because I can filter based upon that. Or like you're up near the Atlanta area. I'm down in the Tampa Bay area, and I'm a big Rays fan, and we're playing the Braves, and I want to like maybe just joke around with you guys a little bit. I can go through tags like that and sort through it and send off specific things like that, like sending off an article or something like that, just to share something that means something to you. Because you're more likely to open that email or that text that I send you if it has something to do with those things you care about and forward than it is for me sending you rent versus buy. Would you agree?
100%. And like I said, that's, Ryan, that's where those mini tags come in, right? I do actually have some that are labeled. Unfortunately, they say Miami Hurricanes fan. I don't know what to do with that, but but then again,
Miami Hurricanes fans on here, so.
I learned years ago about my database, though, something that one of our coaches mentioned about putting people from my phone into my database is like, look, if you're going through that name and you find that person and it says, look, if you saw them in a grocery store or a shopping mall, whatever, and you would duck and cover and not have a conversation with them, they probably don't need to be in your phone. They're a waste of time and a waste of space. Unfortunately, that's where the Florida Gator fans went and that were in my phone. They're gone. We don't do orange in my family, but no, in all seriousness, put those things in there, because you're right. Like I have what I also label as DINKs, DINK, dual income, no kids. When you come across a great investment property, those are great people to send that to, right? They're dual income. They don't have kids. Man, they're either career focused. Now, there's other reasons they may not have kids, but a lot of times they have additional resources, right? I don't know about you, but 5 kids for me, I mean, they'll leave me broke on a daily,
Yeah.
right? I'm
All the
like,
different
man,
activities they've got. Absolutely.
like my 5 kids are my investment properties at this point. So,
At the
but
same
again,
time, that's something you could be focused on for, like, you've got those dinks that you can focus on for that.
mhm,
However, those people with those kids, you can focus on them for something else. Like, you're having more kids. We need to upgrade. Just knowing
mhm,
those things are really, really important. So as you're going through that database, throwing those tags in there are extremely important. I do have a list of tags that I typically will give out to agents, and I like to put emojis on the tags just to make them a
mhm.
little bit more lively, and so I can decipher, because once you have all these words just blopped onto a place, they kind of just become a big blur. So emojis do help. That's one of my pro tips right there. Also, just using these things for exactly like I said. If you're going to send text messages or emails or anything like that, and you want to get somebody's attention, the best way to get their attention is to talk to them about something they're interested in, not what you're so interested in, which is going to be real estate. They may have interest in real estate, but you can do wealth building and stuff like that as well. That's part of the whole dreams part of it, I think, on forward.
100%. I look at that, Ryan, when you showed the graph a few minutes ago, and that's kind of where I live, right? Like, I didn't come from money. I didn't come from some crazy real estate business degree, right? I came from the bottom. It's like, look, man, I want to change my family's financial tree. So I'm going to have to do that through my database, right? Yeah, for sale by owners and expireds, those are all fun. But man, isn't it better to have a conversation with people
Absolutely.
that you like, that are like you, that you actually have built rapport with? I actually just did a closing yesterday with a couple that took a year to move from California to Atlanta. We built an incredible relationship, right? Like, I'm already invited to the housewarming party. We've already gone to dinner a couple times, right? And little things like that. I am a military veteran, so was he. So, right, like in my database, I have a lot of military tags,
Yeah.
right? I mean, when it's the Air Force's birthday, I'm going to send them a happy birthday. That's not something that needs to go to everybody. So, those mini tags are hugely important, right? So, we can really break that stuff down. And then we have, of course, my 12-day tag, which you will have to come back the afternoon at 11 for that part. But this is a mixture of text, email, and phone calls from one tag with different reminders set up so that we know how we're best communicating with a new lead, right? That new lead that comes in, I can't treat them like a DTD2 and only call them once a quarter. Chances are I've lost that person. So knowing that information makes it, makes it so much more personal. I don't know about you, but I'm in my early 40s and can't remember anything.
Yeah.
Right.
Especially
So
when
I'm
it comes to
like,
names. Thank goodness for
right.
CRM.
So you look at the tags, right? And I can look at the tag and then I can go break that down, and then look at the notes and say, okay, these are the 3 people I want to call. Right. I actually did that Friday, and we created a quick online watch party for Messi playing in Miami. I pulled up my DTD2 and I pulled up all of my soccer people and was like, hey, look, anyone that wants to jump in, this is what we're doing. And so I did a live watch party at a local brewery
Nice.
just by following the tags. So hugely
I'm gonna,
beneficial.
I didn't mean to interrupt you, so I'm going to get off of here and let you finish up, because you've got
Yeah,
a few more minutes. But
let's wrap
I
this thing
appreciate
down.
you letting me interrupt.
No problem. So yes, so our tags for everybody on the call. Tags are the way to get organized and then get intentional with our database, right? So if you treat each one of those calls that are those lists that are on your screen right now as a filing cabinet, and within each filing cabinet, you've got your sphere in a drawer, you've got call center in a drawer, client in a drawer, because then within each of those, you may have additional tags that you're going to be able to sort and find these people quickly and efficiently, because that's what we're about, right? I don't know about you, right? We've all seen the joke, I quit my 8 to 5, right? I quit to not work 40 so that I can work 80. I hate that joke. I much prefer to quit the 40 to work about 20. Now, we all know we're not working 20 hours, right? Let's understand that. But can we be more efficient in the time we are using for our business, right? So if I know exactly where to find that list, I know how to get there. Now, once I pull that list, I automatically know, because of my schedule, what I'm calling, what list I'm calling, right? So that I can be the most efficient to get through my database, right? Because here's the thing, 200, just 201. 201. It's great that they're in there, but do we have a system that's going to make sure we are accurately and efficiently connecting with all 201 based on where they are in your database and pipeline, right? I just said I closed one that took a year to get there. He was a sphere of influence referral, but we had to work for a year. It's fine. Not a problem. I took a year, set up the right tags. We were able to follow through. And then we all have heard the whole phrase, right? Failing to plan is just planning to fail 100%. So put 201 people in there. I've done it. I think I put about 450 and then had no plan for how to actually communicate with all of them. Because you can't call 450 people. Well, you can, but 450 people every single week. Some are going to get annoyed with you because they have no intention to buy, right? Some are going to just run out of things to talk about because you haven't built a relationship long enough yet, right? So finding that right system is going to be hugely important. I use my tags to do that. Putting names in a database is easy. Tagging them is the way to go. You've got both of the resources, both the DTD2 schedule. You can start that this week. Just start wherever you are. Find July 24th, which would have been yesterday, and just start with that list. You have all of my tags right there that I use, my main ones. I don't give you all of my mini ones because all of y'all aren't Braves fans or dog fans or anything like that. So you can add those as you want as a sixth group, right? What other or put them in the informational group. I don't care. But put those things in there. So again, my name is Tim Carithers. I am based in Athens, Georgia, but as we have all learned, Atlanta is Georgia. So just if it's in Georgia, absolutely, I am your guy. My email is timothycarithers@unitedhomegroup.com. My phone number is 706-818-0813. You can also find me at LINQAPP, so linkapp.com/Tim_Carithers. That will give you all of my social media, all of my contact information. You'll also see this is what I send to every single person in my database. So they can download my contact information, follow me on social media, those type things, as well as leave Google reviews and see what playlist I'm playing this week. So guys, ladies, I thank you for your time. I look forward to getting back here at 11 to talk about adding some smart plans to these tags.
All right, Tim. So the next 30 minutes, they're going to be going and meeting with their market center tech trainers, hopefully, and they're going to be trying to implement some of the stuff you gave them. So what are the tasks that you'd like them to go and accomplish?
Look at your tags. Look at your people. Pull them up. How many people do you have in your database that don't have tags? Or go ahead and start creating those tags so that you can go through your database and get them tagged. That's the first thing first. Get them tagged so we can start to then work them based on those.
Okay. So the tags that he's talking about that you can use, I've gone ahead and I've put them in the chat there. Also, there's a QR code in the top right-hand corner right there. You can use that to scan it, and it will give you the Google Drive that we've put all of his resources in. The resources are also there for his next class. So if you're going to be attending the next class, they're there for you, and we'll put that back up during that class as well. I just put everything that he gave me into one folder there, and it's ready for you to go. We are going to take a break from on here. Do not log off. We will go ahead and put some music on during the break and then let you guys go ahead and implement some of these strategies. So being able, now that you've got all these contacts in your database, being able to strategically group them into groups to make it easier for you to contact them is the first step here. And then we're going to show you some more conversion strategies here coming up soon. So stay tuned and go and implement this. You got 30 minutes to implement this. Shouldn't take that long to put tags in. If you don't know what a tag is or don't know how to operate tags and all, please, again, get with your Market Center tech trainers. They're a very important part of your life here at KW because they do help you with the technology. Whether you're using Command or any other CRM, the best one to use is the one that you're going to use. It can be right in your phone. One thing I would like to mention, if you don't have 201 contacts yet, I would suggest you go download the Command mobile app. And once you get that app in your hand, you can go into the top corner of it under the contact section, and you can do an import from your phone. All your contacts that are in your phone already will be imported directly into Command. Don't worry about what they look like. All right, just get them into Command, and then from Command right on your desktop, you can go ahead and start cleaning them up right from in there. Choose them just as Tim has shown you. Go through and tag them, put some sources in, put in any other missing information you possibly can, and then start going back and cleaning them up, okay? That is amazing. I've had a lot of people I've been working with in coaching, and those people I've been coaching, when I tell them to start going through and cleaning them up, it takes them forever to get to the next coaching session because they keep saying they're too busy. The reason they're too busy is not because they're cleaning them up. It's because they're going in there and talking to these people and starting conversations, and they're getting busy with business again. So don't fall victim to not cleaning the rest of your database up. Keep doing it and set realistic goals for cleaning up. A lot of times say if you can at least clean 10 a day, you're going to be good, all right? If you can do 20 a day, you'll go a little faster. It just depends on how big your database is. MRIA states if you were to go ahead and put every one of those people on a 36 touch, if you have 100 contacts in your database, that should equal about 6 deals a year. So imagine if you just stayed in contact with all 200 people, that'd be about 12 deals a year. So how many deals do you want to do? Go in and play with your contacts, get them updated, talk to them. You have to talk to them. That's going to be your first touch, right? So that's the first step. And there's lots of other plans we'll talk about today to get going with that. All right, Tim, thanks for joining us. I'll see you at 11.
Awesome.
So I'm going to go ahead and put some music on now, and you guys enjoy time with your Market Center tech trainers. If you don't have one available to you right now, get in touch with your Market Center and ask them. And you can also contact me, and I'll be happy to tell you who it is.
We break up and you slam the door. I messed up on the bedroom floor. What the hell do we do this for? I push you out but you come back. That attraction, we can't fight that. Oh, keep telling myself that I should let go, but I hold on. And oh, keep telling myself that I should move on, but I don't. 'Cause we got that mad love, we got that sad love, we got that fun love, we got that young love, yeah, that dumb love. 'Cause we got that mad love, we got that sad love, we got that fun love, we got that young love, yeah, that dumb love. We got that. We got that. We got that. We got that. keep me waiting, I would wait a lifetime. In tricky situations, I will be a lifeline. Nobody's meant to be fighting alone. That's why I'm taking you home. I never felt something like this before, I know. Keep coming back for your time after time. Maybe I'm losing my mind, but I know I'll never leave you behind, no. Baby, I got you. When you feel like falling, I'll be there to prove, yeah, that baby, I got you. No matter the distance, no matter the moves, yeah, baby, I got you. When you feel like falling, I'll be there to prove, yeah, that baby, I got you. No matter the distance, no matter the hoops, yeah, baby, I got you. I got you. I got you. I got you. Baby, I got you. I got you. I got you. I got you. Ocean in between us, still I feel your heartbeat. There's something about you, baby, that makes me feel complete. Nobody's meant to be fighting alone. That's why I'm taking you home. I never felt something like this before, I know. Coming back for your time after time. Maybe I'm losing my mind, but I know I'll never leave you behind, no. Baby, I got you. When you feel like falling, I'll be there to prove, yeah, that baby, I got you. No matter the distance, no matter the moves, yeah, baby, I got you. When you feel like falling, I'll be there to prove, yeah, that baby, I got you. No matter the distance, no matter the hoops, yeah, baby, I got you. 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 Baby, I got you. I got you. I got you. And the world is going wild when they come for you. And the river's running dry when it all falls through. Don't you worry about a thing, baby, I got you. Yeah, baby, I got you. Work is almost over, summer's getting closer. No time to be sober, sunshine on my shoulders. I'm alive and breathing, living my best life. Love is on my mind and it's making me high. I'm staying in this moment, though it's hard sometimes, but I work it out every once in a while. I feel the love, I feel it growing every day. I feel the love, I feel the love. I hope it never goes away. I feel the love. wish I could be strong, survive all on my own, but now I'm running out of hope. I need somebody else to save me from myself, a love too precious to let go. I've been searching for someone for all my life. I keep on wondering where you hide. Nobody knows. I've been waiting for someone to come around, but I keep on wondering where you hide. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. When I was a child, I thought I'll be alright, but futures can be full.
All right, everybody, welcome. I'm Ryan Yarbrough, Regional Technology Director for South Florida, and I'm joined with Lindsay Springsteen here from Fort Myers and the Islands. And we're going to be talking today more about this 201 Plus initiative that we've had. And I can see we have at least 7 market centers who are joining us. So thank you to those market centers, and hopefully have some more joining us soon. What we're really focusing on 201 Plus is we talked about building your contacts database up by doing open houses, online lead generation, and using your sphere of influence. And we just had Tim Carruthers come in and teach you how to kind of organize some of that. And Lindsay's here to talk to you a little bit today. I'm going to let her introduce herself a little bit more and tell you what she wants to talk to you about. Lindsay,
Good
take it away.
morning. Thank you so much, Ryan, for having me. So my name
My
is
pleasure.
Lindsay Springsteen. I'm an agent here at Keller Williams, Fort Myers and the Islands. A little bit about me: I've got 2 toddlers and a small but mighty little team here in Fort Myers. We've definitely built our business through, all 3 of those different sources: open houses, our sphere, as well as referrals. So I'm going to go into a little bit about our open house strategy and how we pull in utilizing our sphere and utilizing online presence to be able to help execute a really, really huge open house strategy. So we're going to start talking about open house prep and marketing. We're going to talk about the execution of the open house, and then we're going to talk about open house follow-up. So when we first started, when I first came to Keller Williams, I had a very, very small business. I was previously on a team. I became a single agent when I found out I was pregnant with my first child, and I decided to make the move to Keller because it just felt like home to me. So since then, I've been able to, through COVID, through 2 kids, been able to grow my business and to something I've never imagined. So open houses was really the fundamental of this. It was it was March 2020 when I came in to Keller. So it was like join Keller and then the world shut down. So I'm like, here I am, 8 months pregnant. What am I going to do? And open houses have just always been my thing. I love to be able to get in front of people and talk to them because I feel like I can make a better connection that way than just like cold calling or circle prospecting or some of the other, lead gathering strategies. So what we do for our open house is we do a lot on the front end with the prep and the marketing. So once we identify our property, which is going to be in the beginning of the week, we always start on Monday, identify the property, and then we have the whole week to be marketing this. And what we're doing is, of course, getting it into the MLS, so then it syndicates out through like Zillow and Realtor.com and whatnot. But we're also doing a Facebook event invite where we can go and invite our friends lists. We can invite the people that like the business pages, as well as different people from groups that we're posting it in, because we're leveraging local Facebook groups. So if we have an open house, let's say in Cape Coral, we're sticking our open house information into the Cape Coral groups. So we don't run our own groups. We're just kind of piggybacking off of what's already out there, which has been really beneficial. When we have it posted in those groups, we're also making sure to monitor who's reacting to those posts. And we're using that as lead gen, right? So we're gathering the information of the people who liked it or the people who said that they were going to attend. We're sticking them in our CRM. We're reaching out through Messenger and following up like, hey, is this for you? Is it for a friend? And trying to get that conversation started, because everybody that interacts with your post is a potential lead, right? And if it's not a lead for them, they could have somebody that they know of who may be interested in the property to send to you, or somebody else looking to buy or sell real estate. So literally every person is a lead, in my opinion. In addition to the Facebook event, we're utilizing our Google page. So I do have a Google My Business page that my marketing team runs. They're posting it up through there so that it's coming up in searches when people are doing Google searches online for the area. And then we're also doing videos. So we'll go out to the property before the open house and do like a little teaser video where we're showing a part of the property, but we're not necessarily showing the whole thing. So basically it'll be like, hey, it's Lindsay Springsteen coming to you from like 123 Main Street. I've got this open house going on this weekend, and let me tell you, the pool is like amazing. Check out this view. And we'll just show the pool, right? We're not showing them the whole house, because then it defeats the purpose of having them physically come in to the open house, or defeats the purpose of having them reach out for more information. So what we want to do is kind of like capture their attention and have them reach out to us and say, hey, I love it. It's beautiful. I want to see more. Get me more information. So we've got those videos. So we've got our events, we've got our Facebook live videos. And with those live videos, you've got people that are watching them. You have people that are interacting with them through likes. And then you also have people that are commenting on it. And all of those people really should be in your CRM. Even if you don't have like direct contact information, work through Facebook Messenger, Instagram, however you have to figure out to get in communication with them, utilize that data, because they're watching you, right? You're online. They're obviously watching you for a reason. They may not be buying or selling today, but it at least gets you to open up that conversation. And again, you don't know who they know. So follow up with everybody, get them in your CRM. And then something that we do before our open house is we go door knocking. So we usually have like a flyer, and it's basically an invite to the open house, and we'll hit up to 100 doors. We do have ones that will leave at the door if they don't answer, but this is a really good opportunity to get out in the neighborhood and say, hey, did you know that Mr. Jones is selling? Do you have any friends or family looking to move into the area? And it's very like non-confrontational, because it's an invite. It's not like, hey, do you want to sell your house, right? So people like it, and they think it's kind of cool. I've had conversations where people are like, hey, I want to know what my house is worth. Can you come in right now and take a look and get me an idea? So you just never know who you're going to run into. And when you're out there door knocking, make sure that you're keeping track of the folks that you've talked to, like get their name, their address, contact information if you can. Put them in your CRM, right? Everybody you talk to and make contact with needs to go into the CRM and needs to have some sort of a follow-up plan associated with them. So if they said, yeah, I've considered maybe selling, name, address, phone number, whatever contact information you have into your CRM, and make a reminder for yourself. Sometimes they don't always give you the information, but you have their address, so you can always do a pop by or send them a letter and just keep in touch with them. Now, the door knocking, you're also going to be coming across properties that maybe call them zombie properties, right? Ones that look like they're run down or nobody's living there. And you go knock on the door and it's like, yeah, there hasn't been anybody here in a long time. We're also gathering those addresses and mailing the owners letters too. So we're kind of doing our lead gen like more than twofold with just one activity, right? Lots are a big thing down by us right now. There's tons of building happening. So if we go and we park in a vacant lot, we make a note of the address and we send a letter. So we're utilizing the door knocking to not only talk to the neighbors, invite them to the open house, talk about their current situation with buying or selling, but kind of, scoping out the different areas around the properties we're holding open. Now, when we are doing our open house, we'll usually do a Facebook Live, inviting people. Sometimes we'll go live in the groups, like the local Facebook groups, so that we can get a little bit more exposure to it. And we're not showing the whole property again. This is just an invite type of situation. So we're showing maybe a different piece, talking about some special feature of the house, and trying to get them to come in. And we all know that the ultimate goal of an open house isn't necessarily to sell that particular property, but it's to gather the leads. So the more exposure that you can get to a property and the more times that you can reuse the same content and just keep going with it, the more reach you're going to have in the online world. So with us doing multiple videos on our open houses, it seems like you get different people each time, right? Some of them may not be active on Thursdays when we do the first video, and some of them might be active on Saturday morning and they're like, hey, this looks really cool. Let's go check it out. This is happening right now. So we get everybody in through that way. When you're in the open house, the meeting part to me is the most important, right? Because this is your first impression to the people that are coming in. So I like to run our open houses with at least 2 people there. So we have one person that's kind of monitoring the door and making sure that everybody's checking in. We utilize an iPad and an app that syncs into our CRM, which has been super helpful. The person at the door is checking everybody in, kind of doing like some initial, how'd you find us, and questioning them to try to figure out what their situation is. But we're having conversations with everybody that comes in. It's not just like a stand behind the kitchen counter and like, here's the house, show yourself around kind of deal. We actively have our CRM open and we're taking notes in the leads profiles so that we can go back and easily reference the conversations that we had so that it forms a deeper connection with them, because we do have, more information like, hey, here's Maria. She's coming from New York. She's got a place to sell that's up there. She's not necessarily ready to buy until she sells that, but she is looking. So if we know that, then when we go to do our follow-ups, we're not having the same conversation over and over again, and it feels like more of a personal touch to them. When we are at the property, we don't print off any flyers for the home. We have one in a plexiglass stanchion on the counter, and when people are asking to get that flyer, we tell them, hey, we can email it to you. Because that way, if they didn't give us the correct email address in the get-go, which we always hope they do, we're going to get a copy of their email address from sending them the flyer. So everything that we do is targeted around gathering the information, collecting the data, the way that we set it up. Once we're finished with the open house, we start our follow-up almost immediately. So once they register, our smart plan kicks off, and they're going to get an email that is, asking them for feedback on the property. And typically people don't respond to that first email. So we utilize a series of different follow-ups to make sure that we get in contact with these people again. And our plan is a 9-day plan, and then it rolls into more of a DTD2 kind of structure. So you guys are going to get a copy of that plan as well as the scripts that we utilize. But the follow-up's the most important part, right? We want to make sure that we're connecting with these people because if they are actively looking, we want to make sure that we can be the ones to represent them. And not all people that come into the open houses are necessarily going to be buyers. It could be a seller that's looking for an agent to work with. So we want to know, are they buying or selling? We want to know their time frame. Do they have something else that they're selling to buy? So maybe we can send off a referral somewhere, because we have a lot of folks that come into town here. They're from out of the state, and they've got something up north that they have to sell before they can make the move. So if that's the case, we want to make sure that we can represent them on the buy side, as well as partner them up with another Keller Williams agent wherever their current property is located that they have to sell. So the conversations that we have, the script is super easy. I love it because it's like not confrontational. It's very, very simple. It's basically like, hey, Ryan, I noticed that you stopped into our open house. I was just curious if you could provide us some feedback for the sellers. And people are happy to do that because they like to share their opinion. So they'll go in and they'll tell you everything that they thought about the property, whether they loved it or hated it or what they would change or the paint color. I mean, there's been some fun stuff that we hear about the houses, but that's not necessarily the goal of the call, right? We're going to let them talk to get that information out. It's great to bring it back to the sellers, to the listing agent if it's not your listing, but that goal is to figure out why they were there, right? Are they just a nosy neighbor? Are they actually looking to make a move in one way, shape, or form? What's their time frame? All of that different stuff that we're going to go into. And once you're having these conversations, as soon as you have a genuine real estate related conversation with somebody, they need to go on another follow-up plan, right? So we are always keeping in touch with these people until they buy or sell. And some of them may not ever buy or sell, right? They may just be looking. But if you build that relationship, you would be surprised at the amount of referrals that you can get from somebody who you're just in constant contact with. You might call them up 6 months after you met them at an open house and they're like, oh, hey, my brother is looking to move to the area and you've always been calling me. So here's his information, right? So when you're looking at leads, don't necessarily look at it like, oh, that person's not buying or selling anything today. You never know where a lead is going to take you. That's why it's important to stay in communication with them. So from our initial contact with them at the open house, we're going to try calling them 9 days in a row. And we're not leaving any voicemails. If they don't answer, we've got a series of emails and text messages that we use to try to reach them. Because what we've been finding is people are so much more responsive to text messages than they are to the phone calls. We may have to utilize text to get the conversation going. So on day 3, we're shooting them over a text like, hey, it's Lindsay. You stopped by my open house at 123 Main Street. I was just curious if you could be so kind to provide some feedback for our seller. And sometimes you'll get a text back. And I usually like to convert that into a phone call. So I'll be like, hey, I've got a quick question on this. Can I call you? And most of the time they're okay with it because they're already texting you. So then you get them on the phone and you do your conversion that way. The whole goal of this is getting them on the phone, right? It's very difficult to have a meaningful conversation through email or through text message. So I know there's a lot of people that are uncomfortable calling, but if you get comfortable with the script and you come more from contribution of, hey, I have solutions for you, hey, I can help you, it's going to be so much more simple to actually make the calls. Now, a lot of times you'll have people who don't answer the phone and they don't respond to your text, they don't respond to your email. So then what? Then they're going to go into another follow-up plan, right? We've kind of established in the open house if they're a buyer or a seller, right? And we want to make sure that everybody who's attending an open house is getting some sort of a property search or property listing sent to them. And if we don't know exactly what they're searching, we're just going to create their search based on the property that they visited us at, and then we can go from there. So after they're not responsive to our open house plan, we're going to have a follow-up plan that's more focused on the, hey, how are the properties looking that we're sending you? Is this something you would be interested in? Do we have to change the criteria? Even though that's not necessarily what we want to be doing, because we're not just sending properties over blindly, it's a way to start that conversation and get them on the phone and say, hey, I don't want a condo, I want a single family home. And then they're starting to talk to you and have two-way conversations. If we're not successful with our property search conversation, they're going to fall into our DTD2 plan. So just because a lead hasn't answered us for our 9-day open house campaign, or our 30 to 60 day property search campaign, we're going to still continue to try them because you just never know. And in our market, there's so many people that start the search very, very early, right? They find out like, hey, I can retire in 2 years. And they're like, let's go look at open houses in Florida while we're on vacation here. So we have a lot of like pipeline leads, which is nice because if you can keep in contact with those people and just check in on them every 30, 90 days, just checking in, following up, offering any advice that you have, they're going to eventually come back to you, and they're going to send their friends and family to you as well. So being in constant contact is the most important thing. There's so many different smart plans that you can add them to leverage automation, where they think that you're checking in on them, and it's just a smart plan that's firing off. Once we do convert the lead, right? So they're like, hey, we're ready to buy, we're ready to sell, whatever it may be. We're also asking for referrals along the way. So we run a full buyer's consultation with all of our clients. And this is something that I highly recommend everybody does, because it really sets the bar so that you're working specifically with people who are motivated, ready to buy, and not wasting your time driving around town with somebody who like doesn't have a pre-approval or is 6 to 12 months out on time frame. It allows you to sit down and really get into all of the details of what the search is going to entail, what the situation is, do they have something that they have to sell. So we do our buyer's consultation with them. It's about an hour long, I'd say, at the most. So a lot of them have questions, and you just kind of get into conversation about learning about them and their family and where they've come from. And in these consultations, we're also asking for referrals. Like, who else do you know looking to buy or sell real estate, right? So always keeping those referrals in the back of your mind and growing your database so that you can have those, soft or warm introductions rather, to another person, like, hey, Bill, my name is Lindsay. I got your information from your sister, Megan. She said that you were looking for a property, in Iowa. Do you have an agent up there? If not, I can connect you with somebody. So it doesn't have to be a hyper local lead. It can be somebody that's just looking for a referral and looking for some guidance to find the right agent for themselves. So after we do our buyer's consultation and we are out like shopping properties and everything, we're utilizing that as marketing content as well. So if we're out at a property and we see some cool features, we're taking pictures, we're taking videos, and we're posting that online. So it's not like we're out like specifically scheduling time to do a ton of different video shoots. We probably only do 2 a month that are actually like scheduled shoots. It's all just about integrating like what we're doing on the daily into our social media and taking dog pictures. I love dog pictures and pet pictures. So whenever we're at a listing appointment and they've got animals, I'm all over it and taking photos of dogs and birds and pet raccoons and everything else. So that's awesome. And then something at the end of the transaction that we do for building our online presence is we're doing a video testimonial. So at the closing table, we're asking them 3 questions. It's just a simple intro, like, hey, it's Lindsay, with Keller Williams, Fort Myers, and the Islands. I'm here with Greg and Tina. They just closed on their new condo. And then our 3 questions are, how did you find us? What was your favorite part about working with us? And would you recommend us to your friends and family? And then with that, we're adding them on social media, tagging them in the post, and then their friends and family are seeing that as well. So if you're tagging other people or tagging other businesses, your reach is going to continue to grow, right? And that's the goal of this, because if we can leverage off what other people are already doing, getting ourselves in front of our clients, past clients, friends, and family, that's going to really help to build your reach online. So I know we've gone from, open houses to online marketing, but I feel that it's all integrated into itself. So we've covered the open house prep and the open house marketing. We've covered the open house execution, which in my opinion is like the most crucial part of it, because that's where you're going to be doing your meeting. And then we've also covered the open house follow-up. So I'm going to give you guys a handout. Ryan can email that out, but it's going to be the scripts that we use to convert our open house leads into our buyers. And if you have any questions, you can reach me at 262-492-3178. Again, I'm Lindsay Springsteen with Keller Williams, Fort Myers, and the Islands. We do cover all the way up to Charlotte County. We've been doing a ton over in Hendry County, as well as down south in Collier. So we've kind of got a 4-county area that we're covering at this point.
Awesome. And you also have the QR code in the top right-hand corner of the screen. And I just put into the chat the link, a bit.ly link that will give you her mega open house script. So feel free to go in and use that. I wanted to thank you, Lindsay. You did a great job in there. I appreciate
Oh,
that.
thanks.
I know it's kind of awkward because we're so used to Zoom and we have people to look at, and then we come in here. It's a little bit higher
And
quality.
you're just staring at yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. But you had like 12 different offices up there showing their people. So hopefully you've had close to at least 100 people watching at this time. So hopefully they all got something out of it, because I did. I listened to what you said, and I was getting some out of it, especially when it came to using the online sources of going back and getting some of your clients. It's a good way to retarget them, find them, retarget them that way.
Yeah.
I'd like to hear from anybody else if they've got any comments. Let's see, we've got Patty Accordo, one of my favorites. She's down there. She said great info and thank you. So thank you, Patty, for listening. I actually just got to go hang out with Patty for a little bit and got to attend their ALC meeting. So thank you for having me. But if anybody else has any questions for Lindsay, right now is the best time to go ahead and put that in here. We got a couple more minutes. I know Brett was asking if you could go ahead and share your phone number again for
Yep.
people to contact you.
I sent it in the chat, but if you wanted to reach me, it's 262-492-3178, or you could always go to lindsayspringsteen.com for all my info.
Oh, we got it into the chat for everybody so they can contact you. Again, she's in Fort Myers and the Islands and surrounding areas, so feel free to reach out to her for any referrals. They do an excellent job with their open houses and their buyers and their sellers, so send them all down her way. The next session, we're coming back with Tim Carithers from Georgia, where he's going to continue his conversation that he had earlier and going into the converting phases of this. So once you've got all these contacts in there, he's going to talk more about how to convert them. So now they're in your database. Now what do you do with them? So stay tuned for him to come back on and finish up his informational speech. But what I would like you to do right now is to take 30 minutes to meet with your tech trainers, and hopefully a lot of you are in your offices with your tech trainers, and you're going to work with them to implement some of what Lindsay's taught you. So what are some of the things that you'd like them to go implement, Lindsay?
I think the biggest thing, I mean, it's only Tuesday, so if you don't have an open house already scheduled, go ahead and get yourself one on the calendar. Make your Facebook event, share it in your local Facebook groups. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Like, I don't expect you to go and like build a Facebook community. Go and use what's out there already to save yourself time. Make sure you're following the admin's rules, because they can get a little angry and kick you out. So just make sure, if you're not supposed to be doing like, marketing in there, you're not necessarily doing it as marketing. It's more of an event invite than marketing. Shoot your video. So go out to the property, shoot a real basic video. I mean, when I say basic, like 15 to 30 seconds max. You don't want it to be super long. It's just like, hey, it's Lindsay. I'm out here at this property, 123 Main Street. We're going to be here on Saturday from 1 to 3. Come check us out. Look at this beautiful kitchen. Don't show the whole property, right? It defeats the purpose of having them come out to the open house. And then get yourself some flyers together for door knocking. Like, ours are super simple. We'll either use door hangers that just have the information on it, like, hey, open house, you're invited. Or we'll use, a paper that we fold up and have these little plastic baggies that we hang on the doors. But you don't have to make it complicated. It just needs to be out there doing the action. Knocking on the door, they don't answer in like 10 seconds or so, you leave the door hanger. But you're going to get good leads. Almost every time we go out and door knock, we get at least one lead. Like, hey, my daughter's looking to buy something. Here's her phone number. And it's somebody handing us over information of somebody actively looking to buy or sell real estate.
One of the big things I took from it that I would like you guys to go implement is to take this QR code that's on the screen, or just go ahead and use the bit.ly link that I put in the chat, download her open house and turn that into a smart plan. So go into smart plans and turn that into a smart plan, or at least look through the smart plans that are in the library for open house follow-up. So if you're going to do what she said and schedule an open house, then get with your market center tech trainer so they can help you figure out how to take that open house and have that information come back into command. And then from that, turn it into a smart plan so it automatically follows up with all those people. So that's something to go implement in the next 30 minutes. And I'm going to give you actually 32 minutes because we're all done. So we're going to give you 2 minutes more. since that's probably you're gonna need that, because that's a little bit of a complication there when it comes to connecting those things. But I have full faith that your market center tech trainers can do that for you. They are very important people in your lives because they're here to make your lives a lot easier when it comes to this tech. And that's something that's a value proposition that Keller Williams has that we don't have in a lot of other places. So take advantage of the help that you have there for you. We all care and love for you. So enjoy the next 30 minutes. See you guys soon. Thank you,
Thanks,
Lindsay.
Ryan.
Appreciate you.
Bye.
Bye.
If you would keep me waiting, I would wait a lifetime. In tricky situations, I will be a lifeline. Nobody's meant to be fighting alone. That's why I'm taking you home. I never felt something like this before, no. Keep coming back for you time after time. Maybe I'm losing my mind, but I know I'll never leave you behind, no. Baby, I got you. When you feel like falling, I'll be there to prove, yeah, that baby, I got you. No matter the distance, no matter the hoops, yeah, baby, I got you. When you feel like falling, I'll be there to prove, yeah, that baby, I got you. No matter the distance, no matter the hoops, yeah, baby, I got you. I got you. I got you. I got you. I got, baby, I got you. I got you. I got you. I got you. Ocean in between us, still I feel your heartbeat. There's something about you, baby, that makes me feel complete. Nobody's meant to be fighting alone. That's why I'm taking you home. I never felt something like this before, no. Keep coming back for your time after time. Maybe I'm losing my mind, but I know I'll never leave you behind, no. Baby, I got you. When you feel like falling, I'll be there to prove, yeah, that baby, I got you. No matter the distance, no matter the hoops, yeah, baby, I got you. When you feel like falling, I'll be there to prove, yeah, that baby, I got you. No matter the distance, no matter the hoops, yeah, baby, I got you. 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 Baby, I got you. I got you. I got you. I got you. And the world is going wild when they come for you. And the river's running dry when it all falls through. Don't you worry about a thing, baby, I got you. Yeah, baby, I got you. Work is almost over, summer's getting closer. No time to be sober, sunshine on my shoulders. I'm alive and breathing, living my best life. Love is on my mind and it's making me high. I'm staying in this moment, though it's hard sometimes, but I work it out every once in a while. I feel the love, I feel it growing every day. I feel the love, I feel the love. I hope it never goes away. I feel the love, love, love. Feel the love, I feel the love. I feel the love, I feel the love. I feel the love, I feel the love. wish I could be strong, survive all on my own, but now I'm running out of hope. I need somebody else to save me from myself, a love too precious to let go. I've been searching for someone for all my life. I keep on wondering where you hide. Nobody knows. I've been waiting for someone to come around, but I keep on wondering where you hide. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. When I was a child, I thought I'll be alright, but futures can be full of lies. Yeah, it's never easy to find what you want, and if you should find it, don't dare to let go. If you hold on tight, promise you'll be alright. I've been searching for someone for all my life. I keep on wondering where you hide. Nobody knows. I've been waiting for someone to come around, but I keep on wondering where you hide. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Nobody. Should I give it up and hope for better days ahead, or should I keep on searching for the one I haven't met? Should I keep on waiting for you, baby? Tell me when. Yeah, baby, tell me when. I've been searching for someone for all my life. I keep on wondering where you hide. Nobody knows. I've been waiting for someone to come around, but I keep on wondering where you hide. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Nobody knows.
Get up, stretch my legs. Eat some breakfast, milk and eggs. Brush my teeth up, wash my face. Start my day. Wake up, get up, stretch my legs. Eat some breakfast, milk and eggs. Brush my teeth up, wash my face. Throw my clothes on, start my day. Wake up, I can smell the smoke from the bacon. Let's go, see the sun shining from the windows. Okay, I know that today'll be a good day. Okay, I know that today'll be a good day. A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. Drink some water, brush my teeth. Get out of bed and I stretch. Bed in my hair is a mess. Look through my clothes for a fit. Anything I do is drip. Feel like a kid when I'm tick-tocking, I still keep it real as it is. I show my age, I don't switch often, I'm just as a dad as it gets. Try taking naps with my kids, talking, I'm guessing this life how it is. And I can't wait for the weekend, keep jammies on like I'm a kid. Wake up, get up, stretch my legs. Eat some breakfast, milk and eggs. Brush my teeth up, wash my face. Throw my clothes on, start my day. Wake up, I can smell the smoke from the bacon. Let's go, see the sun shining from the windows. Okay, I know that today'll be a good day. Okay, I know that today'll be a good day. Feel good, feel great, can't complain. Look out my window, see birds and planes. Sun's out, some clouds, it might rain. Siblings on my nerves again. Summertime, go for a swim. Wintertime, go grab a sled. Spring, I might need an umbrella. Fall back in school with my friends. Attitude change like the weather. My mom tell me it never ends. Like clocks, we evolve in a circle. Every 12 months we do it again. Wake up, get up, stretch my legs. Eat some breakfast, milk and eggs. Brush my teeth up, wash my face. Throw my clothes on, start my day. Wake up, get up, stretch my legs. Eat some breakfast, milk and eggs. Brush my teeth up, wash my face. Throw my clothes on, start my day.
break up and you slam the door. I messed up on the bedroom floor. What the hell do we do this for? I push you out but you come back. That attraction, we can't fight that. Oh, keep telling myself that I should let go, but I hold on. And oh, keep telling myself that I should move on, but I don't. 'Cause we got that mad love, we got that sad love, we got that fun love, we got that young love, yeah, that dumb love. 'Cause we got that mad love, we got that sad love, we got that fun love, we got that young love, yeah, that dumb love. We got that. We got that. We got that. We got that.
Just kidding. I was muted. Everybody, this is Ryan Yarbrough. I'm your regional technology director for South Florida, and I wanted to welcome you all back. Hopefully, you had a good break. We just finished up with Lindsay Springsteen from Fort Myers and the Islands, and she did an amazing job. And we had started with Tim Carruthers from Georgia, and we have him back. We were honored to have him back because he's going to finish up his session by really showing you how to close on these people. So I'm going to give the session back to him. And if you didn't get the QR code from the last session, we'll be putting it back up along with the bit.ly for his resources that he's going to continue to give to you. Okay. So this is a great session. We're very lucky to have him. Tim, can you just go ahead and say a little bit more about who you are again for those people who didn't get to see you first time?
Absolutely, man. Who doesn't love talking about themselves? So no, my name is Tim Carruthers. I am based in Athens, Georgia. For those that are not in Georgia, Atlanta is Georgia, the whole thing. So anywhere in Georgia, if you have a lead in this direction, shoot it my way. I can highly direct it to where it needs to go. Outside of real estate, most of the time it's spent with my 5 kids. Outside of that, we're out on the pit boss and we're watching soccer or soon enough college football. But I use those same things when we are talking about connecting with clients and connecting with our database, right? We can use those things. And then of course I've been married for 22 years. Fun fact from the first session, we only dated for 10 months. We've made it 22 years. So we don't take that lightly. It's a real blessing. But for this session, last time we talked about the tags, right? We got them all labeled and get some organization, but now what do we do with them, right? How can we utilize that? And another part of command that I think highly gets underutilized, I know I was way underutilizing it, is our smart plans, both the ones that are currently built and the ones that you can build for yourself. And so I want to talk about 3 in our short time together here to make sure we give you something actionable that you can put into place with your business right now to make a difference in your database. And the 3 that I'm going to talk about is what I call my 12-day push. If you've heard the 10 days of pain, it's a similar setup. The other one is a 36-month touch. We're just going to touch on that very quickly. But then the other one that I really think is important that has really helped me in my business as far as my sphere goes is the post-closing, right? You had a seller that just closed. You have a buyer that just closed. What's next for them? They're in your database. They're labeled. They're tagged. You've got all this information. But what do we do with them, right? Where do we go from there? And so first, I want to talk about this 12-day push or the 10 days of pain as it's been commonly known before. And we've heard the number 36 a lot, right? If you've got 201 people in your database and you touch them 36 times, right, then you get X amount of business out of that database. And I took the same philosophy and put it into what I call my 12-day push. Here's my belief on the 12-day push. I would rather be so overly persistent that I literally push a new lead away than to be absolutely as passive as possible and let them just waltz on to another agent, because there is another hungry agent out there that will be more than happy to take care of the people that are in our database. So from a new lead standpoint, and we have dropped the resources, or will be dropping the resources, they're in that Google Drive folder that Ryan mentioned earlier. I'm going to give you 2 of my plans today. The first one being this 12-day push and how we do this. Okay. The 12-day push starts with a quick text message within 5 minutes of someone downloading our app, right? Connecting to our database, or even that mom or dad you meet at the ball field or the skateboard rink, whatever, wherever you meet these people, they go in your database. You've got to have a plan to connect with them immediately. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to shoot out a quick text right off the bat. And again, word for word, exactly what you can put into your smart plan is in this resource. I'm going to connect with them as quickly as possible. But the way the 12-day push works is they're going to get a text every morning at 9 a.m. for 12 straight days. They're going to get a phone call somewhere between noon and 1 from me. That is a real open period in my calendar to where I can be a little bit more flexible for when I'm going to call them. But every one of my text messages and emails all talks about, I am going to be following up with you soon. Well, we start looking real stupid if we say we're going to follow up and we don't do it, right? However, we start looking like a hero when we say we're going to follow up and we actually make that effort. So every day for 12 days, they're going to get a text, a phone call, and an email until they answer. I don't care if it comes via email or text, whichever way the communication comes in, I'm going to continue that conversation that way. So that way, if they come via email, we're just going to have a conversation there and try to get that to a phone call appointment, right? If they do answer the phone, we're going to have a conversation right there. If it's text, back and forth. Right now, I am finding with this 12-day push, the text is the ticket. That is where it's at, but you can't skip the phone call. Skip the phone call is to skip the consistency of the actual follow-up, right? And they're just continuous, right? So we can start building on that. So that 12-day plan is in there. You're going to see exactly what I use. Ryan mentioned using emojis earlier in the first session. If you want your text and your emails to get opened, absolutely throw some emojis in there. When I text with family and friends, I'm not a big emoji person. Okay, just not. However, when it comes to this, very, very intentional. You may even notice in this 12-day push that there may be some grammar errors. Those are on purpose because I'm not a robot. And the idea behind these smart plans, here's the thing. All of us are out lead genning every day, right? We have AI everywhere. That's another conversation, another day, right? But AI is everywhere. But with a smart plan, it is going to allow you to do more work in the same amount of time. So at 9 a.m., when I'm on the phone calling people, the system and the smart plan is sending out text messages for me. So when I'm done with my calls, I can answer the text messages, right? While I'm at lunch, emails are going to go out. So in the afternoon, when I'm knocking out all of my admin tasks, doing appointments, things like that, at the end of the day, I can answer an email, right? So I am scheduling when I can have additional conversations while not messing with my morning lead gen and the regiment that I have set every morning. Okay, so you guys have that. You're going to see exactly what that is. Again, 12 text, 12 phone calls, 12 emails. All of that is in those resources for you. This is something very simple that you can implement right now, this morning, and start connecting with all those new leads that you have. We've talked about the 36 touch. Everyone at Keller Williams knows this 36 touch. Now, for me and my benefit, I am part of United Home Group. We are an expansion team based out of Portland, Oregon. And we have the luxury of having someone on our team that creates all of these emails for us. And they go out to anyone that is in our database. Religiously, consistently, we don't miss it. To the point, we sent out a St. Patrick's Day back in March, and I received 2 contacts that had not been on my database for over 1,000 days. They logged back in just because there was some disruptor in their email. Okay, I have a client right now. We actually just referred them because they're not in my area. They were labeled that they were not in my area, but I sent out a rent versus buy 36-month touch email. To me, is just something that happens, but to the person that receives it in the time that they need it, that simple little email is huge. And she reached out and she said, I've been renting. I'm reading this email. How do I stop the bleeding over here to where we can potentially buy a home? We had those conversations. We referred her to an agent in her area. They're putting a contract in today. Okay. These little 36-month touch emails, they work, right? You may not think they work. It's a lot like social media. You may post something on social media and you get one like, maybe you get a comment, maybe you get nothing at all. And then a week later, you get a phone call from someone in your Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, wherever that says, hey, I saw your video or I saw your post and I need more information about that. That's how I feel about the 36-month touch. Yes, it goes into email. No, you don't necessarily get a lot of response, but it's there for people to see when they need to see it. So don't sleep on that. There are plans in command that you can use right now that are going to get that information out to your people. Stay top of mind. When I think smart plans, that's all I think. I want to be the name that they always remember, right? I want to be the name that they call and at least get information. Let me be your hub. I don't care what state or city you're in. But then the last part, I think the third one that's equally as important to anything we do. We close on a property. What's next? Do you have a plan in place that says this is what's going to happen this afternoon, this is what's going to happen tomorrow, and this is what's going to happen every day for a year? Do you have that plan? If your answer is no, you do now. It is in the resources. I took a smart plan. I took some other plans from other agents, and I built a 365-day plan. No, it does not mean I'm going to contact my clients every day for 365 days, but there is a plan in place. So that form or that link is in there. And I did both of these for all of you in Word documents so that we make sure that you guys can just go in, copy, and use it however you want. Make it sound like you, make it fit for you. But for me, when I start this plan, so I use a tag for this plan. It's just buyer follow up or buyer client or whatever it's tagged at this moment. I come out of my closing. I sit down in my car. I send the CD to my transaction coordinator. And the very next thing I do is to put this tag on that client and mark them as closed. Okay. By doing that, the smart plan automatically starts. So they're going to get an email from me all about congratulations, asking for a 5-star review, right? Who do they know? Little things like that. And then here's the thing. If you had the resource open and you're looking, the very next day, they're going to get a second email at 9 a.m. in the morning that says, hey, look, I forgot a couple things in my email yesterday. I didn't forget anything. It was built that way on purpose, right? But how many of us remind our buyer clients to change their address? Our seller clients change their address. Utilities, turn them on, turn them off. Locating essentials in their area, right? Where do they need to go to get all of these things done? And updating your driver's license. I helped a client back in February. The address on her driver's license was from 3 addresses before, right? Little things like that that kind of take it away from real estate, but are keeping you top of mind so that you can stay connected to your people. Now, in that smart plan there, what you're going to find is you're going to find 9 reminders. Those are for you, right? Those reminders come to you. Those reminders are going to be a phone call. When you're 7 days in, you're a week in, you're going to pick up the phone and call that client. Hey, have you made any changes to the home? I'd love to see pictures. I couldn't count on both hands the number of times I've made that phone call and the client reaches out and says, hey, why don't you just swing by? Swing by and see what we did to the backyard. Swing by and see what we did to the kitchen. Hey, we have torn that master bathroom to pieces. You ought to see how open it looks right now, right? Little conversations like that are going to go a long way. And you're going to notice throughout that whole plan, I'm constantly asking them, who do they know? Who have they met, right? They may have met the neighbor 3 doors down that's getting ready to sell at the end of the year. because they're the ones out meeting new people, right? So you're going to get 9 reminders. The other reminders are going to be to send them a piece of mail, send them a note card, right? So you get about 2 weeks in, right? Send them a note card. Hey, just thinking about you guys. Is there anything I can help you with, or anything you've noticed in your home that you might need to get fixed? You might want to look and see what does an estimate cost to get new flooring done. This is where those reminders are going to be great to keep you top of mind. Okay. Another one, you're going to get 5 text messages. You're going to see what each one of those text messages are. All of my text messages for every plan I use goes out at 9 o'clock in the morning. Why 9 o'clock in the morning? Right? 9 o'clock in the morning so that I can still make my phone calls, but the plan's doubling me up. The plan is doubling, tripling, quadrupling who I can have a conversation with. Finish phone calls, answer text messages. All of my text messages are already queued up for me because people have been responding. The other part you're going to get 6 emails. 6 emails just throughout the time. Hey, who do you know? Hey, I hope that I am being of a resource to you. One of my favorite ones that I typically send out about, I think it's 6 months in. Hey, have you thought about making any updates to your home? I have a personally vetted vendor list that I would love to share with you if that would be beneficial to you. I get a lot of requests for that list. Being a military veteran, every vendor on my list is a military veteran company. Works great for me to be able to sell that in that format. So you're going to get those, but it's 365 days of different stuff. At the end of 365, the very last day, there are about 4 items that take place. A note card went out about a week before that. They should be getting that happy home anniversary gift and note card. The day of, they're going to get a text message. Midday, they're going to get a phone call. End of the day, they're going to get an email. Sounds very familiar to the way that I very first met them the first time I put them into my database, right? 3 contacts. A year later, of when we actually have closed, they've been in their home a year, 3 more contacts. And the last reminder that I get is to add them back to my DTD2 to make sure that I'm staying in contact with them every 90 days again. These are simple plans that allow us to take and double and triple our time, right? With these tags, you can add smart plans based on the tag. Give this name a tag, let that smart plan work for them, right? So the whole time you're making phone calls, you're out in the community doing community events, let the smart plan work for you. Let that be the thing that connects you, right? So that you're not having to overwork. You're not having to remember. Because again, I said in the first one, I'm in my mid-40s. I don't remember anything. The other day, I was filling out my kids' information for school and then asked for their phone number. And I'm like, I don't even know. Whatever it says in my phone. So I don't try to remember things. There's other things we have to remember. These aren't them. We have a system that will allow us to do it because of what we get with Keller Williams and Command. Not every other broker has the smart plans we have. And one of the things, if nothing else at the end of the day with this, is when we talk about how do I implement these, copy and paste. Put your information in, copy and paste, because at the end of the day, done is better than perfect. Right? Early on, I kept trying to change everything before I just went with it. Done's better than perfect because I was missing all kinds of follow-ups. I was missing all kinds of pieces that 30 days in, I didn't remember to do that. 60 days in, I didn't remember to do that. Let the system work for you. Make your life easier so that you can go out and be doing the things that make you more money up in the right now time, right? So when we kind of think about this from just as a recap, using a consistent plan that's going to keep you top of mind. It doesn't have to be every day. It just has to be consistent and regular. I actually missed 4th of July this year. It's my fault on building the plan, but I didn't put in a July 4th in my 36 touch that I add to this from the calendar. And I actually got an email from a friend that said, hey, look, I didn't get this thing this year. So make sure make sure you're getting those things in, because they will notice, right? The other part is press in hard to your new leads. That person you met at the grocery store, when they say, hey, when you say, let me get your information, or hey, let me give you my information, don't put that information in your phone. Put that information into command, hand them the app, let them fill out their own information. Because for mine, when I get that new lead, new tag, new plan goes out. That way I don't miss following up with them after we put them in. This is making my life so much easier. I can always add them to my phone later from command if I need to. I look at the 36-month touch like it's a sprinkler system. We live in the South. I live in Georgia, where our grass can burn very easily in these wonderful summer months. So the sprinkler system is just keeping my lawn nourished. Same thing with the 36 touch. We're just making sure we're putting a sprinkle over everything. And at the end of the day, for your people that you actually helped buy or sell, don't make them orphans, right? How often do we close a home, or other agents close homes, and then they're ready to sell that home and they don't use that same agent because that agent did not stay in touch? Or they bought a home and they found a friend that wanted to move into a home that was for sale 3 doors down. Because we didn't stay in touch, they just went and found another agent or called the name on the sign. But by doing this staying in touch part, you look like a hero. You look like the agent who is not in it just for the money, right? Because now we've closed and you're still having conversations with them. You're still offering them things of value. And reality is you're really making more business over here and the system's doing everything else for you. So when you can do those things, that's where you're going to start to make a difference in this database. And those are just 2 plans. 36 touch makes 3. I gave you 2. So that's a little bit about how I use my tags. Once we get them in there, we get them organized, how we start adding plans that are going to make those things work for you. Now, again, I did say at the very beginning, I am based in Athens, Georgia. If you're outside of Georgia, Atlanta is Georgia. So if I can ever help you in the state of Georgia, give me a shout. My email is timothycarrithers@unitedhomegroup.com. My phone number is 706-818-0813. Or you can find me on the link app, linkapp.com/Tim_Carrithers. That will give you all of my social media. Give me, download my contact card, find my review, all those things. They're all in there. But I greatly appreciate the opportunity to get here, Ryan. And I hope I've given you something today that's going to get you business down the road.
Do you mind giving us that link one more time?
Yeah. It is linkapp.com/Tim_Carrithers. You'll also get on there whatever playlist I have playing today also.
All right. So there you go. There's his link app. Actually, I spelled it wrong, I believe. I think that's supposed to be an A.
Oh, yep.
Let me try that again.
Yeah, I don't know where that O is going to take you.
There you go. And there we go. So again, there it is. Correct, I believe this time.
Yep.
So if you need any of his contact information, anything, there's a good place to go. Make sure to spell with an A, not a no. Thank you so much for your information. And also, if you didn't see already, in the top right-hand corner, there is a QR code there. If you scan that QR code, all the resources that he's provided for us all today are right there for you. And you can go ahead and R&D that. That's our jam here at KW. Don't reinvent the wheel. Let's go ahead and help each other by taking what's already there and then make it a little bit of your own. But I'm going to take a moment here to see if there's any questions before we take off. Because what we're going to do, I'm not going to put that up there.
Man, easy, man, easy. Okay.
So what we're going to do now is we're going to break off and take our market center tech trainers, give them a shot to work with you guys in your market center so that they can help implement some of the stuff that Tim's just giving you. So Tim, what are some of the things that you'd like from this session for them to go and implement?
Yeah, so very simple. There's 2 plans. Hit the QR code, get it out of that Google Drive, put that into play.
What specifically?
So here's the thing, copy and paste, right? Start with the 12-day plan. Start with the 12-day plan. Every new lead that comes in starting today should get that plan.
Yeah.
100%. It's helped me do 80% of my business is that one plan.
Is that plan already in the Smart Plan library?
It is not yet.
Okay. So if it's not, then what I would do is just copy and paste that and make your own Smart Plan and make it your own. All right. Put your own information on there and get it out. Just get it going, because if you're not contacting anybody in your database, at least get that touch going. It makes it a little less awkward that when you call them and you at least have that to call on, right? Hey, have you been getting my messages? Have you getting my emails?
Absolutely. I will tell you, I've actually sent that to some of my some friends that I've put into my database that we finally reconnected. I'll throw it in there. They'll get this crazy first message. Hey, you logged into my site. And I'm like, I will give them, you didn't log into my site. One, I'm disappointed you didn't log into my site. Hey, the link's on there. Go ahead and go do that. And then you'll get the message again. But you can make it fun, but just send out, get them connected with something.
What I want you all to understand is this whole day was supposed to be about converting. Now we've got contacts in there. You went and did open houses. You went and did online lead generation. You talked to people in your database and were able to get somebody to become another contact in your database. So if you've got these leads, what do you do with them next? Well, we've given you proven strategies around that today that if you just continue to talk to them, they will turn into business. And it doesn't all have to be salesy. It doesn't all have to be, hey, do you want to buy, sell, or invest in real estate? Now, that is a valid question. However, that shouldn't be your question every time you call them, because if you do call them with that question every single time, that phone, when it gets so much heavier, this phone is just got gravity pulling on it like crazy. However, if you're calling them and talking to them about the things that we've talked about today, which is the things that are important to them, or just loving on them a little bit, that phone is really, really light, because it's not about being salesy. It's about being human and using the tools and technology we have to make it easier for us to do that, because we can do it in a systematic way. We just put it into a smart plan and run that smart plan and run the play, right? And football is a great sport to talk about when it comes to that, especially when it comes to beating the Gators or beating the Hurricanes or whoever else it is. If we want to beat them, the way we got to do it is we got to run the best plays, and those plays are your smart plans. Okay, so if we're gonna run a route to the right, that's got to be the play you run on every single time until you get really, really good at it. So practice, 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 put those into play and start calling every single day. All right, anything else to add? I'm seeing in here, Dora, of our amazing tech trainers over in Wellington, says you did a great job, and thank you. And I want to thank you as well. So thank you for coming on.
Appreciate y'all for having us.
I also want to mention for everybody who's still on here, Take Command is a event that we do every month. It's the last Tuesday of every month, and we have been doing this around 201 plus topics. We focused it in on the playbooks. If you're interested in the playbooks, you can actually go to KW Connect or just in Command. Just go to Connect in the top of the screen, and once you're in Connect, just type in playbook. You'll get all the playbooks pop up. No other company does this. They've put together a playbook just telling you how to run your business and make it simple, step by step by step. And what we're doing, if you've noticed all year long, is we've been just taking those playbooks and running them each one of these classes to make it a little bit easier so you can hear the topics. Next month, we're going to be doing our topic on events. So if you have anybody that you know of that is doing great events, please let your Market Center Tech Trainer know if you want to learn a little bit from them. Also, if it's you that's doing the events and you're doing a high level and you love to come on Take Command, we'd love to hear from you. And if you want to learn from these people, make sure you show up next month, the last Tuesday of the month, because we're going to be talking about events. And then we're going to be following that up with social media the following month. And then our last one of the year is going to be on mortgage hacks. That's going to be in October. We don't do anything in November and December because the last Tuesdays fall right around the holidays. However, we do have a great event coming up in the very beginning of December that South Florida has put together with South Texas, and we call that South Flexus, and that's going to be your Tech the Halls event. So if you've not been to Tech the Halls, it's going to be bigger and better than ever. We've put a lot of man hours into it. We just had our first Christmas in July event recently, and it went really, really well. And that was just a taste of what's to come for Tech the Halls, because it's all going to be around game show themes. So anything that has to do with games is going to be included. That means the entire thing is going to be gamified, and we're going to have a lot of fun. We're also going to be doing it from different locations. So tune into that. If you haven't been there, go to kwtechthehalls.com and you'll get some more information on that. Otherwise, stay tuned because we're going to be doing this for a few more months. We're going to bring you every one of those playbooks so that we can help decipher the code that's in there. All right. So again, check out KW Connect or just go to Connect within Command and look for the playbooks. They're all in there for you to download or just keep right within there. I appreciate you all coming on today. And if you need anything else, please feel free to reach out. My name's Ryan Yarbrough. You can reach me at South Florida Region at kw.com, or you can reach out to your Market Center Tech Trainers and they'd be happy to help you. Tim, have a blessed day. We appreciate you. Adios.